Not live, Herbert. Yes, make sure.
Well, meeting to order. I want to acknowledge the Smokeman Valley and what we learn, work, and recognize as the ancestral, traditional, unceded territory of the Smokeman people, home of the Smokeman Indian Band. And we have one amendment to the agenda, and that's to add a special camera meeting at the end. So that would be
9.1.
yeah, it's a 90.1, but so yeah, I guess 90.1. With that, can we get an adoption of the agenda as amended?
Move, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Second, that was by Councillor Willis. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. There's no minutes. So the next thing is petitions and delegations. So I'll invite Ian Lindsay up to the podium there to tell us what you're all about.
Thank you. So I'm the CEO of the SOS Medical Foundation. I've been in the role just over a year. So I was explaining downstairs, I guess I took a year to figure out what the actual job is, and I'm still learning that, but I guess I can't hide too much longer in the office. So I wanted to come down here to explain a little bit about what the Medical Foundation is and what my vision is, hopefully, for the future of the foundation, but specifically the Princeton area. And I do just want to say, so that way no one's stressed or stopped listening, there will be no ask today. I promise that. This is just more information going forward. So the Medical Foundation really would be very similar to RDUS. Healthcare, provincial government spending just does not cover all the costs. And so what we do as we come in through donations through our partners throughout the South Okanagan Spokane area is we work with what I would say the community, people on the ground, as well as interior health to find out areas that we can support. So that's kind of our short answer. I always like to say the nice thing is we're not just talking, we're doing. In the last 5 years, we've put $20 million in equipment purchases into the region. This does not count the $10 million oncology campaign that we're currently on, that we're going to go forward here soon. So an example of what we do is the CT scanner, which RDOS was part of, but we provided the majority of the funding for that. So we now have 2 in the Penticton Regional Hospital. Prior to that, wait time for about a year. They would shut one machine down for a month for maintenance, and people had to go to Kelowna. So having that second machine, we've cut down the wait times. We're now always being able to offer that service. So that's kind of the idea for us is we're looking at, I'll say, not the interior health provincial government blanket of this is our focus today, but we're meeting with people on the ground to find out what the communities actually want. And so we go ahead and purchase that equipment via interior health approving it, because what we don't want, it happened in New Brunswick once. They bought a lot of equipment and it sat in a corner. So we do have a nice partnership that we say if we purchase this, can you guys actually use it and benefit the community? So I use the 20 million so people actually see that we actually are doing what we say we are and not just sitting on money or just waiting for it. The next one I'm hoping you guys know about, but what we've done in Princeton specifically. So in the last 5 years, we purchased over $315,000 in equipment. The Lucas chest compression, we've bought it twice. I'm not even going to pronounce that second one. I apologize. I'm still learning my medical terms, I'll say. But there's the picture for it, portable x-ray machines as well. And currently, although I was notified that it was supposed to start in January and it's now starting this month, is we're renovating the complete nursing station. So this is what we've done in the Kingston area in the last couple of years. I have to talk about oncology anywhere I go. So this is a $10 million campaign. The center is actually going to open June 23rd. If there's no more hiccups on last minute construction, but that is the way. So we are really excited about the oncology center. Really, if anyone's been there, it probably needed upgrading 20 years ago, but we got it done now. So a couple highlights for that is we're doubling the nursing station from 3 to 7 nurses. We're expanding treatment bays. The actual center itself is doubling in space, adding 7 bathrooms from 1. Space now for social workers, caregivers, better equipment, infection control, and what I think is maybe the most important part is right now with the center limited space, if you have a loved one come with you, they have to wait outside in the car, in the hallways, whatnot. They get to come in the first meeting and there's no private spaces. So with the new center, his loved ones can now come in with their partners while they're getting the treatments, as well as if you're just having that bad day or if it's your first time going and you want to be alone, we actually have private rooms right now. Currently, it's kind of put up a curtain and everyone can hear your conversations. So you know, there's, I'll say 2 parts of the oncology center. We're excited about the extra space. Sadly, the demand for it is needed. But I also think there's a little bit of a humane component to it now that we're providing people that mental health break as well while they're going through this. So, as I say, that is going to be opening up in June. So we're really excited about that. You guys can call me out if you go up to the center. This is what it is supposed to look like. I have not been in there yet, so we will find out if the designs and what the completion looks like are the same. But we're really excited. So I do, since I have your attention, before I get to really why I'm here, I want to kind of show that we're more than just the oncology center. That has been the priority for the last 3 years. As I talked about, we've done the CT scanner. We were obviously a big part of the David Campy Tower. And so a few things coming down the pipeline that we're looking at specifically in Penticton and all of our communities. We're moving forward with technology. This is actually the cheapest robot. There's robots $5 to $6 million. So we're moving into that technology space, but we will be moving slowly due to the price. This robot specifically, what it will do is it's not replacing any human element, but it's going to give the doctors more precise information. So in this case, the robotic surgical assistant will work with hip knee replacements. Right now what happens is a doctor will measure you. You know, if Spencer and I both need knee replacements, we have different bodies. The doctors are making estimates of, you know, I have to cut so deep on this, this individual separately. They're pretty precise, but there's the human error. What these robotics will do is they will actually do the cut lines for them, so it's more specific. That way people don't actually have the longer wait time recovery. More precise, quicker. We do about 4 surgeries a day. This will actually increase us quickly that we could do 6 to 7 more accurate surgeries as well. This isn't cutting edge technology. It's actually been in the US. I know that's not a favorite thing to use right now. But from a healthcare perspective, the clinics are pretty good. Is that we're looking at, you know, this has been around for 5 to 10 years, and what we have now is people finishing up their residencies where this is the equipment they've learned. And so we want to bring this equipment here so the new grads, we can actually recruit them to the area. Then the endobronchial ultrasound. So we have the oncology center, and now we want to keep people out of the oncology center. What we have right now is no early testing in the whole South Okanagan-Similkameen area. There's one of these machines in Kelowna for the whole interior BC region. I have been told that wait times can be anywhere from 9 to 12 months to actually get tested. So I'm not a medical professional by any stretch, but one thing we do know is early diagnosis, treatment, and keep people out of having a more severe stage of cancer. And so the idea for us is we would love to bring this here to the south. So that way we can have testing here, cut the wait times, encourage doctors to actually push the testing because now there will be a reasonable wait time and diagnose cancer earlier. So that way we can keep them out of A, the oncology center, or B, at least going to Kelowna for radiation treatment. So this is kind of our next step, I'll say, in our fight against cancer for the region. And just so you know, people do call it an e-bus. It is not a bus. That has been confused. It's a piece of equipment. The other focus right now is echocardiogram. I was actually told that the approximate value we have there may be inaccurate, so please ignore that. We're looking at buying 2 machines. There's 3 currently in use in the Penticton Hospital. One has hit its lifespan, and so we want to bring a 4th one in. If we do that, the government has agreed to hire a new technician. So that way, right now, once again, we have a 10-month wait time. We hope with the 4th machine, we can get that down to 4 months or so, because we have the extra staff to use it. So you might have noticed a little bit of a history there of a lot of what we're focusing on is the wait times. Moving with new technology, new equipment. One thing we are trying to do now at the foundation is buy these machines or start fundraising for these machines before we actually need them. As I use the robotics as an example, just in case Interior Health is listening, they have not approved any of the robotic equipment yet. They're working on that, but it's going to take us time to raise that money. So we're going to actually start going out that route with the goal of that in 2-3 years that we feel very confident there will be a system in place with Interior Health to do it. So that's kind of a real quick brief of the Medical Foundation. So why I'm here today, outside of the fact that Princeton is clearly in the region, that would be my first start.
We don't always get it recognized.
I'll give a story here. So I actually grew up in Northern Ontario, and one thing I laughed at, but at the time maybe I wasn't just laughing, was we have a lot of people come from Toronto who would tell us what we need, what we want, how to do things. Never worked out too well for those people. And so I'm not going to follow their suit. So we need a real connection with Princeton. And what I mean by that is we have a great relationship with Interior Health Hospital here. But similar to what I would call in our Penticton, Summerland, Oliver Soyas area, there's the hospital and then there's the community. And we don't have a relationship with the community right now. And that's why I'm here. We are looking for people to sit on our committees, to inform us what Princeton is going through, what Princeton needs, and then how we as the foundation can support that. And so I'll use the nursing lab as an station as an example. We are really excited about that. We know the Interior Health employees are very excited about that. But I don't know if better word the average Princeton city member cares or if they would like that funding to go somewhere else. So that's what I'm here for, asking you guys as the representatives of Princeton, if there's committee members or people who are willing to sit on committees or inform us, if it's a direct relationship with you guys, or if there's people in the town, we want to speak to them. Eventually we do ask for money. I'm not going to deny that, but right now we're not there. What we're really looking for is just we want to know what Princeton needs and how we can support that. And so that way, if we do come here, we have the Princeton Auxiliary, who has been fantastic, supporting oncology and other alternatives. But we would love to say, okay, what's going on in Princeton? How do we support that? So with that, I am open to questions, but I hope that answers why I'm here. Is we are wanting a relationship, and I don't want it to be me coming here to say this is what Princeton needs, but I wanted you guys telling me what Princeton needs.
Councilor McLean first.
If we're going to put it in front of people, what kind of a time commitment are you looking at for your person now?
Absolutely, great question. So we have several options here. We do not have a board representative in Princeton or Carameas area, and so that would be our what I would call biggest time commitment. We had one in the past, I guess. They used to do board meetings monthly, and it was just too far of a drive for the representative here. one, they can join it via Teams now or Zoom, and two, we meet quarterly. So it'd be 4 times a month that we meet. They can do it virtually. So that would be, I'll say, our long-term ideal goal is having a board member here. In the meantime, we have a lot of committees. If it's going on events, or if it's doing our governance, or working out on fundraising activities going forward. And what I would say is just maybe having one-on-ones with me. I'll use the example. I came here about a month ago to try to meet with some of the more significant engagement people we have in the community. And so I'd be happy to come if there's individuals, groups who want to just meet, and we can start building that first, because we want to make sure it is a fit. I'll say, a board person we don't take lightly. But I would think, we're not looking for more than 2-3 hours a month out of their time. Because as a board member, we do put them on subcommittees.
And so you're saying it would be Zoom meeting kind of thing, or because I was approached years ago to sit on the interior health board.
Okay, yeah.
But there was no one, and I don't think I was on council at that time, and there was no one going to pay you. You traveled over and take that back on your own.
Yeah, so I can't speak for interior health, but I would say for our board specifically, we would, obviously in person is always better. I'm not going to pretend Zoom that works. But if it means having a representative here that they are joining 4 times a month on Zoom, and then that person and I most times can talk via conversation over the phone, that is a way better start for us than where we currently are. So there's no demand for that they have to travel. We would potentially look at covering expenses for, the on-board trip, but as a nonprofit, we try to be tight with our money, but I would say we would definitely look at paying for the first trip, I think, to meet the whole board, have those conversations, and then after that, it could be all Zoom.
I just think what you mentioned in terms of the Northern Ontario example, it is so important, and I use the Pure Health Board as an example. If your voice isn't there, I'm sorry, but you're not getting the same attention as if you have a representative talking for you.
I absolutely agree with that. I mean, I'll be honest, I've only lived in Penticton for a year, so I'm still learning how to speak for Penticton. I can't speak for Princeton. I know that, and that's why we need a voice. And even on that, I would say going the other way, if there's committees or groups that you think are beneficial for myself or someone from the Medical Foundation to sit on to learn Princeton better too, we'd be happy to look at those opportunities as well.
I was going to jump in there. So we've got a number of different organizations and committees that we have in town. We have a health table with Interior Health. It's bi-monthly, now it used to be monthly. We have an interagency meeting where everyone comes together. So there's a bunch of options there, and it'd be good to. I think I have your email. If not, I'm pretty sure you have mine. So we should connect afterwards and have a discussion about it. I know when Walter was retiring from the board, he tried to get me to, and I was like, I'm just too busy, Walter. And then there was somebody in town that I was trying to get, but it was the travel that was, what they were just do this trip during the winter or not. So the teams thing will be a lot easier for us to find somebody. I didn't know Carameus didn't have anybody, so that's usually Carameus or Princeton represents all of us. So.
And I would say ideally we should have one from each, but we'll start with one.
Yeah.
And from there. So no, I would love that. I don't know how to close this. I don't want to play with you guys. That's perfect.
Do you guys do fundraising for buildings?
We do. If I'm for example, Oncology Center itself, out of that, well, it's a $23 million project. For us, the $10 million, this is an estimate, not exact numbers by any stretch, but I would say about $7 million is going towards just renovating. So we would look at buildings, renovating buildings. Obviously, I think goes without saying, but if it's going to increase our healthcare access point for the citizens. Our mission is better patient experience. If that means a building's falling apart, we will go in and renovate it to create that experience.
we'll definitely have a chat later.
Maybe I'm a little worried now.
No, I met with Interior Health about, a new hospital here.
Okay.
It's not on the work plan, and they said we're not allowed to make a work plan because if we make a work plan, it indicates that we're going to do it, and it has to come from the province. So I'm trying to set up some meetings with, I'm not sure who's in charge now, because now we have a minister of infrastructure that's supposed to hold the purse strings on all that stuff. So with health and infrastructure to see if we can't get something happening, because we're a growing community. The mine is at about 630 employees now. The plan is 900 by the middle of the year, if not later. It's going to add an extra, a lot of extra people to the community, and our hospital's small, it's old. It's done its job, but we need to start looking at what the next phase of our community is. And we're probably one of the fastest growing communities once the housing gets in place. We were in the top 10, James, fastest growing rural communities in British Columbia. And that hasn't, the only reason it's stagnant is because we haven't been able to keep up with housing. So once the houses are in place, we're going to see a population structure. So
Yeah.
and I know we've put off the ER renovations and stuff because our primary care network is working out of what's going to be part of the future ER. So there's a whole bunch of things there that aren't happening because we keep just kind of trying to keep this facility up and running. It's in the middle of the road, but at some point we have to start planning for replacement. And I think if we made that known to the community, people will start donating. Because the community that built that hospital in the first place, they built the first hospital, they built this hospital. And I'm pretty sure they'll come together to build this new hospital.
Well, and just on that point, so I should have mentioned this, is with the foundation, you can earmark your gifts too. And so if someone puts, they want the money to be invested, by law, we have to spend it too. So just on your note, if we said, oh, the hospital, people start giving, it has to come back to us. So the money stays in the community, which I think is an important aspect of that too. Because I know some people, there's say trust issues. So I should have said that earlier, but yeah, happy to chat about that. I will say, you would need to join Interior Health on that, but
We'll get there.
we definitely
I don't take no very lightly.
play a role in that if that.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if you're into the technical part of this thing, but what do you call the endobronchial ultrasound?
Yeah.
Is that taking over from blood tests, cancer searching sort of?
No, would be the short answer. And I will say I'm not a medical professional, so this is I'll say the Coles note how Ian interpreted it. It's an added bonus service. And so we would not be replacing any services like taking the blood test or any of that aspect. This would be focused on the lung area specifically, so it's more doing ultrasound scans to detect the cancer. So yeah, in this case, it's not replacing a service. All those other services are needed, and they also test for other forms of cancer. Where this one specifically is focusing on lung cancer, which is the leading cancer in our region.
Yep.
I just have a question. Where's the new oncology department located?
Yeah. How well do you know the hospital?
Been there a few times.
Okay. I usually hope people say not at all. So it's on the third floor. It's above the Women and Children's Center.
Oh, okay.
So it is in the old part of the hospital, which is why there's been a few delays, more or less, that we've really, I'll say we're doing it right. It started before my time, but with our US Interior Health and ourselves, it was, let's not just put a nice coat of paint in an area and wait for it. We built it for that will last hopefully 25 years, and an infrastructure that they took everything. I should say I actually did get a sneak peek, but it's just concrete floors everywhere. That they replaced all the piping, all the floors, asbestos, and everything. It was a complete demolition. So that way we are not needing to put money in it for 25 plus years. But it's fully, I'd say, like a new build.
It's central still.
Yeah.
Incorporated right with the hospital.
Yeah.
Because there's no just putting paint on the old wait.
Yeah.
It's been like a couple months in there. It's not very good.
The goal is eventually the Campy Tower to the old hospital, you won't notice the difference. The oncology center will definitely help with that. And there's just on that, cause I think sometimes people hear third floor, cause right now the current center's on the first floor. It's right on elevator access, so right when you walk to the same spot, you just take the elevators up to the third floor, so it'll still be very convenient for all.
Yeah.
You got it.
Thank you.
It's okay. I may not stay for the rest of
So,
Come on.
the Breakfast master plan?
it, but you guys do have my information, so I'd love to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have our next presentation? They're coming in on Teams, are they?
Megan, are you there? Okay, well, we'll just get you set up here one second.
Yeah, we warned you. There's no WC.
You got it all from there, James?
I mean, you did that.
Nathan, do you want to come up here? Gary's not here.
Yeah, you can sit here.
I think she's on a screen. I think she hold that. I think she told him.
So to make sure to get the volume.
Megan, do you have your presentation to share, or do you want us to pull it up on our end? Okay. You get her. Go for it.
It's just on work songs or by.
If James can get her sound, can't hear her. We may get you up and running, and then I'll get IT to add the cameras. I've got your slides. Council can't hear you yet. So, no.
Does anybody need a drink?
Somebody's.
What's that? Can you let me in the meeting?
It's in the RDUS came to us.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Doug.
You're
You're on finance teams or are you on council teams?
But they're standing, their house, their transportation standing buddy, Mike from there, they just zoomed in. Yeah. Like, we can buy you out here.
Mark, can you hear me?
No.
Yes, I can hear you. We're just trying to get the sound into council chambers. We went from a live meeting to
a
virtual one, so.
It's like, 15 hours in your airplane. For an hour to work.
Who would tell the board?
What the heck happened there? Well, yesterday. Third, so we're gonna buy. It's in minority range now. Completely, but I said. I'd be happy with that.
Let's get it done.
Yeah, especially right now, because I know off the court. More important right now than ever, they all. So, BS.
As long as it doesn't slow things down.
It's Ottawa. We almost there, James?
The little spot, you know.
They owe us.
Sorry.
Well, if we can ask, I thought that was wrong.
It was.
There. Sorry, everybody, if you're watching online.
That clock needs to get changed.
Clock needs to be taken down.
Just because you can't keep it on time. Just gotta put a digital one up there, so. I think it has to stay up there for the cord.
We're getting closer. Bear with me.
Worked for the nursery rec center, made a janitor, we changed the time. He'd start at 1 o'clock, we kind of time to change them all the same. This is limited to ice services, pool, fitness, but and he'd start at 9 and all the rooms will say 9. When you go around, every day around, you change all the, he used to crack us up every time.
There we go. Can you hear us now?
No.
Can you hear?
Hello. Yeah. Presentation.
You're on. Thank you.
Do we have questions?
Nobody is in favor of arena improvements and all that sort of thing. Yet I have a hard time. Is there at any other time than playoffs with the posse that we can justify, say, knocking out that back wall, putting seating? Am I missing something? Is there some events that could be happening if we did those types of improvements?
So the plan that we had,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
what was that, like 15 years ago?
We do have plans, on the shelf, which, did kind of demonstrate taking that, we'll call it the north wall.
You put your lunch
And we pushing it out and putting some more bleachers on the other side of the rink. You know, it was a little bit cost prohibitive then, probably even more money now, but yeah, you're right. I mean, if we had more seating, then it definitely would open up to larger events.
as we were sitting here, I was thinking about this. The fact that we don't have space that the municipality owns. And what Randy was just speaking about, expanding out the back. What if we were even to like expand over top of the parking lot or say mezzanine use, right? Pushing that out a little bit and adding more program space instead of just what we have now. I mean, we have dance up there, the daycare was up there the other day. You know, we have a bunch of users that are looking for that space and we're premium, so stuff like that. I did have a question for presenter, whoever there she is. China Ridge Trails, did you look much into what potential could be between the town and the society? Because, you know, they have mountain bike trails, they have hiking trails, they have ski trails, they have snowshoe trails and whatnot. And I feel like that is somewhere that we're missing the boat, not just for recreation, but for tourism. And I think there's an opportunity there to expand, but I don't know how we make that happen. And then also, did you look into the Manning Park? Manning Park is technically, so it's part of the regional rural Princeton. Like, did you look into that area as well?
Thing too is just to mention that Lyle was asked by the China Ridge group to come in and they're re-looking at themselves as well. And so there's partnerships there that were discussed and ways to do that. It's interesting because it is in the RDUS, but how do we link, you know, the community out there in an easier way to get there, right? And that's some of the aspect. And they're themselves are looking at how they advertise their tourism. Again, right? Everything's still in a little bit of a reboot. It's communities, capabilities to bring it further. And also there you have a lot of new board members that are starting to understand the connection between the regional district, you know, up there and then how the town supports as well, right?
Anybody got?
I have questions. There was talk in your presentation of the final plan, Megan, about expanding trails within the community for connection. Is that in more detail, like what trails and what the recommendations are? Is that listed more in the actual master plan? It's 40 pages. And is that listed or mapped out in this plan? But not the proposed mapping, or is that just something, because I understand this is like, okay. And then you had also mentioned that you gave staff an Excel sheet that has like the timelines and the pricing and stuff like that. Is that in this?
A lot of problems with the trails is that.
Exactly, that's why I'm interested, what's the plan? If this is a proposed plan for us to follow or
Like
to make plans for the future,
Jared's team was working on,
do we have to purchase land?
was that you guys were working on
Dates in there.
the ownership of the dike.
Going down to access the town.
So the,
What they're allowed to, help, they're supposed to design the trails and all that kind of thing.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, like, is
That's
it
a trail plan, separate. Because there's always, so Jared's team right now is working on who owns the dike, because we own some parts of it, or we rent some parts of it. There's some parts we have no access to, even the old access to the shop, the town shop, which is the road. That, we don't own all that, we don't have occupation on some of it. There's a number of things that have to be done before that. Going to Memorial Park, another problem, that's highway right away, and also through the reserve, we don't want to do that. There is a trail there, but we can't maintain it because it's not ours. Went out to the high school from the arena, again, through, I mean, we have a license to use the bottom part, but the rest is, by the school district or Ministry of Transportation. So there's a lot of things that still need to be done that if we're gonna look at a trail plan, and I think, down the road, we will we're gonna look for grants for a trails plan, and there's active transportation planning money out there, and that's what because it's gonna be it'll be as big a document as this, just for a trails plan, so, Mark.
The mapping you're looking for is in
in the OCP? That's why it's just kind of the point is that like this is the high level goal, but then there's lots of roadblocks and obstacles to get to the end. Lots of work that needs to be done.
So, and each project will develop its own unique plan, but it should align with the master plan. Master plan is kind of like an OCP of recreation, let's say, and so it's like you say, it's a high level, this is the direction we want to go, and then from that, we will just start picking projects out of that, and then developing more detailed plans and working with it.
Thank you.
So one of the slides that we had in our package that you didn't do was challenges and opportunities. And at the top on there was indoor pool, multi-use facility. How was that overwhelming? Like everybody wanted that, or was it just a few people? Like I know it keeps coming up as one of the top priorities, but how high up the priorities did you find that? Did you get respondents from Area H as well as in town? Or was it only in town? Were they in support as well? Thank you.
on page 112 of your agenda has percentages listed of priorities for new facilities.
That's one. I'm sorry. Okay, was there any other
The
questions?
number that jumped out at me was that 90% of all respondents were in favor of a pool.
Yeah.
However, it was somewhere else in another mentioned very low interest in raising taxes.
That's always the problem.
We have a plan.
Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, thank you for your time and thank you for this report. Have a good day. Okay, with that, I'm gonna go down to new business 9.1. Need a motion that meeting be closed to the public for the purpose of considering the following 90.1 labor relations or other employee relations.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
McLean, Gould, all in favor? Thank you. With that, we will turn off the video and we'll have everybody except for file and James.